More Mandela fun. So many Mandela effects. Hit it. Welcome back, Jeff Pilkington. More Mandela Effects. Launch TV, let's do it right now. The first Mandela effect that we have today is the Bolton Dinosaur. Now, people remember the Bolton Museum, and they remember this giant skeleton of a dinosaur. And they remember it from books, and people actually remember it in the museum. It was huge. It took up the whole room, and people remember it in the 60s in the Bolton Museum. They remember it being at the entrance. In fact, everyone was so caught off guard at this museum, they had this memory of it, that they actually launched a committee. In January 2006, the Bolton News said that an appeal was made for information relating to a missing dinosaur. They're like, it must have been stolen because dinosaur didn't get up and walk away, so where did it go? People remember visiting the museum, and the leader of the council that was investigating into it, this guy Alan Rushton, actually said, am I supposed to accept that my eyes deceived me, or this enormous dinosaur was a figment of my imagination? I remember as a schoolboy going on visits to the museum and standing in awe looking at it. I raised the matter when I was on the arts committee, but we were never able to find any trace of it. Do you remember the Bolton dinosaur from books and pictures, this museum having this dinosaur? Because I do. Very strange. Let's do some outfit suit swapping. St. Nicholas. We all know St. Nicholas. Now, St. Nicholas is not the jolly old guy with the red suit. We're talking about the old school St. Nicholas. We're talking about the guy 270 AD Greece St. Nicholas. Now, this guy, people have this memory of him wearing a white robe, and he is actually wearing a tan green. It was always tan green. Do you remember St. Nicholas having a white robe, or do you remember him wearing tan green? Because all history says that it's always been tan green, but people see the tan green on St. Nicholas, and they're like, that just looks strange. It looks a little odd to me. I gotta be honest. I do remember, the white robe. So I don't know what happened there, but that seems strange. Also, John Lennon. The Imagine music video with Yoko Ono, remember that? They go into the room and they sit at the piano, and the color of John Lennon's suit was black. It was black. Everybody remembers it being a white suit, and I do have this memory of him sitting at the piano in a white suit. The black suit seems weird to me. Do you remember John Lennon in the Imagine music video wearing a black suit or a white suit? Because it's always been black. Now, he wore white suits, so that could be what's happening here, but people are like, no. I remember the Imagine music video, he had on a white suit. People are positive of it. And yeah, it does seem a little strange because I remember that one too. That's strange. Gilligan's Island. We all remember Gilligan's Island. We love Gilligan's Island. Well, the thing about Gilligan's Island is their hats are swapping around. Now, I wasn't a big Gilligan's Island guy, but I've been seeing these online and such, so I thought I'd share them and get your guys' opinion. Now, people remember the skipper's hat. What color was the skipper's hat? People remember the skipper's hat being black. Do you remember it being black? Because it's always been navy blue. The skipper's hat is navy blue and always was navy blue. But people have this memory of it being black, so that's strange. Also, Gilligan's hat. What color do you remember Gilligan's hat? No hats were as cool as this hat. Rams. Super Bowl next year. Anyway, people remember Gilligan's hat being white, and it actually wasn't white. It was like this tan color, and it's always been this tan color. So people see this tan color on Gilligan's hat, and they're like, that just doesn't look right. They remember it being white. Now, I didn't watch a lot of Gilligan's Island, so I don't know on those, but if these hats seem strange to you, let me know. That's strange. Okay, people remember a movie from the 80s titled They Live, John Carpenter's They Live. Now, there's a little discrepancy here because the cover of it doesn't look right to people. And what doesn't look right is people remember an exclamation point being on the end of They Live. Do you remember an exclamation point being there? Because there's never been an exclamation point. But people are like, that is so weird. That movie had They Live exclamation point. Like, it really freaks longtime fans the movie out. They're trying to figure out what is going on with that. Because where did the exclamation point go? So let me know what you remember. I'm not a big They Live guy, but people remember that. Let's keep going. The next one, Popeye the Cartoon. We all watched Popeye growing up. Now, there's been a bit of a discrepancy in the villain within Popeye because people always remember him being Brutus. That's what they remember the villain's name being, Brutus. Now, do you remember his name being Brutus? Because now it's showing the current villain's name is Bluto. And there's still residual, there's a lot of residual of Brutus, but this Bluto, that apparently it's always been, is now popping up everywhere online, and in the cartoons his name's Bluto. But people are like, no, it's always been Brutus. Now, Brutus and Bluto, you can kind of see them both online, but they're like, I don't know where this Bluto came from because it was always Brutus. Like Popeye the Sailor Man, was the villain Bluto or Brutus? Let me know what you remember, because people think that's strange. Okay, this is actually a really interesting one. You know the song in the Bible? There's like a Bible song, a Christmas song about three kings, we three kings, the three wise men, all that. Well, in the Bible, people remember, when Jesus was born, they remember three wise men coming and seeing Jesus. The thing is, in the Bible, there's no history of these three wise men. Now, there's a carol about three kings, and we three kings, you've heard it, and people have seen the three kings, online, and they've seen, references in pop culture, and also, they do reference three kings in other parts of the Bible, but three wise men or three kings never specifically came to see the baby Jesus in the Bible. That doesn't exist if you go back and look at it. The three wise men aren't even in there anymore. So people are like, what the heck? Because there were always three wise men, and they're gone. And they weren't kings either. So the three kings are gone. There's still three kings mentioned other places in the Bible, but three wise men, three kings did not come to see baby Jesus. It was actually, they were known as magi. People remember them being three wise men. They don't remember these magi that were there. And there wasn't even a specific number, and it wasn't even at Jesus's birth. There was no history of the three wise men coming and seeing Jesus. That doesn't exist anymore. There was like a group of magi, but no specific three wise men. Let me know what you remember there, because that is definitely, I remember the three kings or the three wise men bringing gifts. Very strange that that's not even in the Bible anymore. And another thing about it is people remember three wise men, the three kings, coming and seeing the baby right when the baby was born. People remember the manger scene and the baby right when it was born. And the thing is, it wasn't right when he was born. In the Bible, it was later. It was while he was a baby, it wasn't right when he was born. But people remember it right when he was born, there being three wise men there. Now, these magi, a group of them, more than three, brought gifts. There were three gifts. But there were not three kings and there were not three wise men. That has disappeared. And it was not right when the baby was born either. It was a little bit later when this group came. So people are like, that's totally changed. Let me know what you think on that one. Very strange. Okay, Humpty Dumpty. Now, this is interesting because we all remember Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Now, everybody remembers Humpty being an egg. And the history online is Humpty's an egg. The thing is, though, Humpty wasn't an egg. You know what he always was, what the history of Humpty Dumpty is? He was a cannon. He was always a cannon that fell off a wall. Now, of course, if you Google Humpty Dumpty, he's going to show up as an egg. And that comes from the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass. People say that that's where that became an egg, because Humpty Dumpty was an egg in the sequel to Alice in Wonderland. But the thing is, people don't remember this history of the cannon being the original Humpty Dumpty. What do you remember? Do you remember it being a cannon or an egg? Because a lot of people are saying that history of it being a cannon appeared out of nowhere. That they don't ever remember any history of it being a cannon. That it was always just an egg, and there was no history of a cannon. So what do you remember as far as this cannon business? Let me know what you think on that, because they're like, that history, it's like a razzle-dazzle effect. It showed up out of nowhere, like the razzle-dazzle, stripes on the ships. So that's strange to people. Like, where did that come from? And let's finish up with the 1958 movie The Fly. And just like Hitchcock's The Birds, there is a color discrepancy in the movie. And people are saying that this has nothing to do with black and white TVs, because most people in the 50s and 60s didn't even have TVs. They went and saw it in the theater. So people in the comments about Hitchcock in my other video, I'll put a card up there, have been saying, oh, well, it was because of the TV. Well, it wasn't because of the TV, because most people didn't even have TVs back then. So the color discrepancy wasn't because of television. But The Fly was always in color. It was not in black and white. It was filmed in color, just like The Birds. and people are like, they remember black and white. They remember history being black and white, but The Fly was always color. Do you remember color, or do you remember black and white? And it had nothing to do with the television. That's the thing. That's what's so strange to people. So let me know what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed these today, and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, comment, let me know your thoughts on all of this, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Jeff Pilkington, Launch TV, out.